Hey everyone, it's Carter King. If you're an educator, a leader, or just a parent who wants to teach kids about space, check out my newest book, Carter's Journey Through Space. It's available now on Amazon, Target, and bookstores everywhere. Come explore the universe with me.
Welcome to another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle King, and the goal of this podcast is simple: to help you create environments where people thrive. Through real conversations, practical strategies, and powerful stories, we equip leaders, educators, and change makers just like yourself to build cultures rooted in purpose, performance, and authenticity. Because culture isn't something you talk about, it's something you live. This is the Contagious Culture Podcast. Let's get started. Two of my favorite people are coming on. I was invited to go to a book signing of one of the women that will be coming on, and she is literally the epitome of transformative leadership. So I am super excited to hear from her, and this conversation highlights the power of storytelling in shaping our own brand identity and attracting the right audience. And Sharee Allen and Nicole F. Smith break down how organizations can craft narratives that build not just emotional connection, but also communicate value and inspire engagement. And they're going to be sharing strategies and campaigns that demonstrate how authentic storytelling fuels growth. But before we get started in that conversation, I want to give y'all something away for free. I told you, I want to be able to provide value today. If you're new to the Podcastathon, if you're just hopping on for the first session, we're here all day from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're going to be sharing strategies on leadership, organizational effectiveness, AI, emotional intelligence, marketing, branding, how you go and secure big deals. How do you go from relationship to securing and asking for $1 million deals? And it's all under the theme of contagious culture, because the energy you bring is the culture you create. And in this conversation, I want to be able to invite you to go to upgrademyfundraising.com, upgrademyfundraising.com. You do not even need to put the www.in. You just want to be able to go to upgrademyfundraising.com and be able to go through the prompts, and then you'll receive an email. And then over the next few days, you'll receive emails every single day with prompts, with leadership tools, with methodologies that we've designed here at the Culture Lab that can be able to assist you and prepare you in your leadership journey. So thank you all who have been commenting, who have been engaging, who have been listening in. And I'm excited. Nicole is here, and she's she's backstage ready to rock. I see that smile. So we're just going to go ahead and bring her up. Nicole, how you doing?
Hey, how are you, Mr. Kyle? What's going on, Mr. King?
I'm amazing. I am amazing.
Good.
I know you're gonna bring the energy, and you got your mic with the light that can. I didn't get that mic, Nicole. I know I was supposed to get that mic. I ended up getting a completely different one.
Well, I mean, whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. You sound amazing, though. So whatever mic you have, I like it. I like it.
I appreciate you so much. Before we get started, Nicole, I just want to give you your flowers for a second before Sharee comes on. You are truly amazing, and you are heart-centered, present-centered, doing some truly phenomenal work, transforming people's lives. And I truly believe the seeds that you planted in the conversation that we had almost a month ago have continued to flourish and grow something within me that's helping me show up better as a leader and just individual every single day. So I just want to say thank you publicly for your work, for your leadership. And I'm excited for us to get into this conversation.
Oh, thank you. And I would take all the flowers, all the flowers. I love it. You are so kind. You are so kind. And I'm going to toss a flower back at you too, as I see you. I see what you're doing. I love your platform. And however I can support you and scream your name in rooms that you're not in, I'm going to be the one to do it. So
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Now,
absolutely.
For the people in the back, can you talk about what you do, who you are, and what is the story that got you to this work?
Oh my goodness. So I am Nicole F. Smith. I am founder of JMS Creative Leadership Solutions, and we are a leadership development and coaching practice. But I stand on the foundation of emotional intelligence because I do feel that your emotional intelligence, your EQ, is going to help your IQ shine. And
Talk about it.
people don't realize that you can be as smart as you want to be, right? You can have the highest IQ. But if your EQ is in the trash, in the gutter, you are not going to have trust. No one's going to trust you, and your behavior is going to impact people in a negative way. Even though your intent may be a little different, the impact is not going to be what you desire. So I help leaders integrate their EQ into their leadership style, which will also to increase communication, their communication skills, but also to help build and maintain trust. That's the maintain part is what's hard for individuals, and understanding that when you have trust, you influence, right? You lead. Because like I said, if you are a leader and you don't have any followers, you're just taking a walk. And so I'm trying to lead. I'm trying to lead people, and do know sometimes you have to lead from the back too. You have to know how to do that as well.
Let me ask you this question, and just to get us started, because you said something in this that buzzword trust, the T word. I feel like the T word is like a curse word in organizations today. How do we build trust, Nicole?
Oh,
Like,
gosh.
how do we build trust? And if trust is broken, I feel like it's so hard to rebuild trust.
It
What
is.
would you recommend on how to do it?
Well, this is where I tell people there are levels of trust. People like to go in with a big bucket of trust. And no, I like to say, pull that bucket back. There are levels of trust. For me, I go into relationships with individuals, whether it's personal or professional, at that first level of trust. I'm going in there assuming, and I know people go, oh, you're making assumptions. No, I'm going in there assuming that you have my best interest
That's
because
good.
I have yours. I have yours going in, right? I'm not trying to manipulate you. I'm not trying to get anything from you. Let's see where this goes until you show me differently. And what I mean show me differently means our values are not aligned, which means you have challenged my values to where you were trying to tell me that my values aren't worth anything, which then leads to that disrespect. So that could take you literally off the levels of trust. But for someone to trust you, are you standing on your values? Do you know your values? Are you walking in with not only good intent, but also too intending for that to make a positive impact? This is where I say, Kyle, you have intent and you have impact, right? How small is that gap? Because if your gap is too wide between the two, you're not going to have any trust. If you have intent and impact and you have a small gap, you're going to gain trust. Are you going in there demonstrating that you are worthy of someone else's trust? Are you going in there your genuine self? Oh, I'm going to throw out that buzzword authentic. Are you being authentic?
That's
So there's the way you show up, the way you communicate, your body language, your tone, those little pieces right there is going to help you gain trust. And if you don't know how to do that, yeah, you're not going to get that trust. You're not going to get that trust from anybody.
one of the questions or the statements that you made earlier had the values word.
Mhm.
What is an activity that you would recommend people do where they can understand their values, either personally or professionally? I truly believe that they should align.
They should.
But what are some things that I can do to reflect on, like, what actually do I value? What are my values as an individual?
First of all, okay, so I'm glad you asked. I'm going to say in my workshops and when I speak to clients, I actually have a values mapping exercise and you can go out on Google, you can Google values and you'll get a list of like 250 values. This is where I tell you, I want you to sit down in a nice quiet space and I want you to circle all the values that pop out for you. So this means you have to go to Google, you have to print out the value sheet so you can sit there and you circle all the values that pop out at you, everything that just resonates with you. Oh, that's me, that's me, that's me. Okay. The next thing I want you to do is narrow that down to 10. And that's going to be hard because you're going to have to grieve the 10 you let go. Because you're like, wait a minute, that's me, that's me. And I'm like, no, you got to find some priority in your values. So you're going to have to grieve the 10 you let go. And then here's the hard part. You got to get down to 5.
That's so
So get
good.
down to 5. It's not to say the others don't matter. It's just saying these top 5 is what's
Yeah.
driving my strengths right now. This is what's driving my, the way I move. This is what's driving my communication. This is driving how I show up. Now, here's the kicker. Those 5 values. I do not want you to circle honesty, ethical, or integrity because those are innate right? Those are innate values. I shouldn't have to scream that I'm honest, right?
Mm.
I go in thinking you're honest until you lie to me, until you show me you're not, right?
Yes.
But here it is. You chose those 5. Now I want you to write down how you demonstrate those 5 values every day. How do you show up? How do you behave in those values every day? So if you're saying you're compassionate, but you were just driving down the road screaming and flipping off the driver next to you because they cut you off, where's your compassion?
Mm.
Where's that compassion? Now, I'm not saying we don't backslide, right? But I want you to show up in those values every day. So that's where you start that self-discovery to know that your values lead into your strengths, which lead into your behaviors. And within there is that emotion of how you feel while you're doing all of this, right? So what are those values? And this is where I always say, we walk around saying, I got mama and them's values, mama and them, my auntie and my mama, my dad, and so forth. Sometimes you have to let those values go if you want to, if you want to stop that generational trauma. If you're trying to break that, you're going to have to find your own values. You're going to have to walk in your own self.
I have a question that just came up. You mentioned the gap between intention and impact. What internal checkpoints or reflective questions can leaders build into their process to catch misalignment before it happens?
That's a good question. What internal checkpoints? Okay, so going back with the intent versus impact, this is where I say, what is your intent? Are you going in there with good intent? Meaning the person or the situation you're in, you're looking for a win-win, meaning they're going to get something and you're going to gain something as well, right? You're not having any manipulation in that. Now you have to see, now your intent, now you have to see what that impact is. How did that other person behave? How did that other person react to you? How did they respond to you? Are you gaining what you desire? What is that impact that you made? Listen, the impacts, for instance, if you're giving somebody feedback and your intent is to help them grow, right? You're going in there saying, Kyle, I'm going to tell you something. And I'm telling you because I think it's going to help you grow, right? But if that impact, when I share it with you, I don't watch my body language. I don't watch my tone, right? I say it in a way to where Kyle doesn't receive it well and he gets upset. Well, that impact didn't go the way I wanted it to go. I'm watching your response. It's not that I feel that Kyle's going to be hurt in the beginning because you may be hurt that I've given you some feedback. But Kyle, I know it's going to help you grow. You're going to sit in it and you're going to go, you know what? When Nicole told me, yeah, I think she's right, right? But if my intent, I'm thinking to help you grow and the impact is that I just beat you down even further.
That's good.
That wasn't the impact. That wasn't it. So now you need to sit back and understand there was a huge gap between the intent and the impact. What are those checkpoints leaders can build into their process? This is to catch that misalignment is making sure that as a leader, you understand the person that you're speaking with. So for instance, if it's an employee of yours, get to know them, understand their motivation, right? So when you go in with your intent, you're going to communicate in a way that they're going to receive it, right? Your body language is going to be in a way that they're going to receive it. So now your impact, you're going to instantly see the response you get from that person and know, okay, this hit. This was good.
Exactly.
This was good. But also too, to her point of that misalignment, the question of the misalignment, sometimes everyone's values don't line up apples for apples, right? They don't. This is where you have to understand as a leader that your values may be different from somebody else's, but here is where that respect comes in. There still can be an alignment there because that respect is there. We don't have to like the same things, right? But I can respect that. I can understand your perspective in that. So there's an alignment of respect, right? So, because I'm pretty sure we all have that value of respect somewhere tucked in that 20, right? There's an alignment there. So this is where I say always as a leader, your checkpoints is always to make sure that your intent and your impact have a small gap, but also two, you get to know your employees and you watch their reactions, watch how they respond to you because you are influencing them.
Exactly.
You are influencing them. I hope
Let me
that answered her question.
I believe it did. And if it
Okay.
didn't, please ask the question again in
Yeah.
our audience. And if you have any questions in the audience, please bring them up. Make your comments. The question that I have, Nicole, because I see this oftentimes, can you communicate to us when is it time to potentially leave an organization or a leader that doesn't necessarily align with your values?
Wow, that's a good question. You you're gonna have to discern that line. You're gonna have to discern, okay, that finish line for yourself and say, okay,
Mm.
I'm done. You have to understand people do leave their managers. When they leave organizations, they don't leave because of, oh, the money
Mhm.
and this. More than likely, they're leaving because of their managers. This is where I say, if you have that decision, I'm going to leave. I want you to pause for a second and take a breath and think about why you are leaving. If there is a misalignment of values, does this mean that I need to go talk to the leader so that they do understand where my values come in? Right?
That's
There
good.
are certain deal breakers, Kyle. For me, I left an organization because it was unethical.
Mm.
I had a leader ask me to do something that I was like, no, I'm not doing this. Well, I'm going to go get the president because I reported to the president of this organization. And I said, go get him. I'm gonna tell him myself, this goes against my values, and I will not be put into this situation. I will lose this job if you make me go against that value. The president, of course, sided with me, but I decided to leave probably about 8 months later because there were other
Mhm.
things that I just noticed was going against my integrity, going against, me being, um, ethical. And this is where I say, you don't hear me wearing a T-shirt or see me wearing a T-shirt saying, I'm ethical," right?
Yeah.
No, it's in me. It's who I am, and I demonstrate that every day. So you're gonna have to decide if a value of yours is structure. I get frustrated because there's a lack of structure, and structure is a value of mine,
Mhm.
okay? I'm not gonna say immediately quit. It How about you go maybe communicate with somebody where you're frustrated, and here's why I'm frustrated, because there's no structure in this process, no structure in this policy. So before you say, "I'm done," and throw your hands up and leave, this is where I say pause for a minute and see if there's other steps that you need to take so someone can understand your values, because maybe they don't know, and with them not knowing, that means they are crossing the boundary lines for you. So you need to speak up and say, "This is a boundary of mine because it goes against a value." But again, ethical, integrity, I was done because I kept seeing it happen and I was like, "I can't do this. I can't be a part of this."
Let me ask you this question though, because there's somebody listening right now, and I have conversations with leaders or just colleagues of mine that don't like an organization. They recognize that organization doesn't align in their values,
Mhm,
but it's paying their bills, Nicole.
mhm.
How do I start to either plan my life or be willing to risk some certain things so that I can be in a position or in an environment that aligns and supports the values that I deem as important?
If you are there just because you're getting a paycheck, uh, I don't even know I don't even know what to say to you. I don't even know what to say to you. I was about to say, "Well, you just this." Okay, so when I hear people that are miserable at their job, I say, "Well, what's going on? Why don't you're not a tree. You can move." And
Exactly.
then they'll give me the excuse of, "Oh, the economy, the jobs and the jobs that." No, you can go get another job.
Hmm.
Finally, it comes down to, well, I don't feel like updating my resume and I don't feel like interviewing. To me, that's just laziness. That you just okay, then you're sitting there because you want to. It's comfortable for you. You probably know how to do the job with your eyes.
Hey, it's Kyle. Sorry to interrupt your programming, but I got a quick culture check for you. How's your team's energy right now? I mean, literally, right now. Are people feeling inspired? Or are they just showing up? See, here's the truth. Culture doesn't change because we talk about it. It changes because we live it actively every single day. And that's what I help organizations do. Build contagious cultures that people actually want to be a part of. Through keynote talks, interactive trainings, and hands-on consulting. I help leaders transform the way their teams connect, perform, and grow. So if your culture needs a little bit of spark, let's light it up together. Visit theculturelab.org, again, theculturelab.org, or connect with me directly on LinkedIn at Kyle S. King to learn more about how we can work together. Because remember, your culture is contagious. Make it worth catching. Now let's get back to the program.
With your eyes closed.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, well, they give me benefits. I can leave when I want to go get my kid, or I can do this and do this and do this. Okay, well, you're complacent. And if that's where you want to be, that's where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the person that's like, I'm getting the heck up out of here.
Yeah.
I want you to decide an exit strategy. This is something my mentor taught me years ago, your exit strategy, because it takes about 5 to 6 months now to get a new job. And I don't want to discourage anybody, but it takes, in a normal economy, it could take anywhere from 4 to 6 months. And now it's taking like 5 to 6 to 7 months to get a new gig, a new job. You need to decide an exit strategy. Okay. This is where I say, while you are in that moment, still come in and give 100%. All right. Still go in there and do your job. Let them know I can do this. I got this, because we are so good, or we think we are so good at hiding our behavior, and we're not. So people can sense your attitude. People can sense your behavior. Create that exit strategy. What is the type of job that you want next? Is it because of money? Do you need that job because you need a bigger paycheck? Or nothing's wrong with taking a lateral move, right? Update your resume, go out there and start looking for jobs, do mock interviews with friends or, colleagues you trust and so forth, where you can, because interviewing is different now. We do those behavior interviews. I want to know a situation that you've been in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also to decide financially. Some people are like, well, I want to quit. Well, can you go without having a job for a few months? What does your financials look like? So this is where I said, don't be lazy. Yes, it's irritating having to do your resume over again. I get it. I get it. Interviewing can be a pain in the butt, and you're probably going to get 50 no's before you get that one yes. I get it. But this is where I said you need to keep going. How important is it to you? Especially if your values don't align, you're miserable. You're miserable. So now what do you need to do to get up and go get that next job? Or Kyle, maybe get something temporary until you get the job you want. Because if your sanity is at stake, listen, go get something in the meantime while you're trying to find that one that you want. Yes. Oh, I love what she said. What you're not changing, you're choosing. Yes. Absolutely. This is where I say you're not a tree. You can move. You are not a tree. You can move. But a tree can be taken up out of its roots too.
That's an interesting perspective though, Nicole. Like, what is the psychology of why you believe people stay in positions or relationships or really anything past its expiration date? Let's talk about it.
Complacent. They're comfortable. It's easy. It's easy. We were built for hard things. We were built to do hard things. And people go, oh, I don't like change. Okay. Yes, change is hard. Anything that requires change is going to be hard. When you change jobs, you change schools, you change your clothes, you buy a new house, whatever it is, that's change. And it can be difficult and it can be frustrating at some times. But when you look at the other side of the change and see that, oh, my stress is down. I love myself even more. My relationship, let's just say with my kids, is even better because let's say you left a relationship, right? Your relationship with your kids is even better. But Kyle, I feel people are just complacent. We're just complacent. We want easy. We want easy. And what do they say? If you do the same thing expecting different results each time, that's insanity.
That's insanity.
Yeah, I think people are just complacent.
One of the things that I appreciate about today is the constant change, the change in conversations, the change in people that we're all hearing from. And I'm excited, y'all, because Nicole, this has been great. But we had some technical difficulties behind stage with my main person in the back, Miss Allen. She's
I'm here now. I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh my God, this is good. I want to get on, but I couldn't get on. Now I'm on. So
it's all good. So you've heard a little bit about from the conversation. You were in the back, so you heard the conversation. can you quickly talk about who you are, what you do, and then your thoughts on what Nicole's been sharing?
Yes. So my name is Sharee Allen. I'm the founder and executive director of Meant to Be of the Carolinas. We are a nonprofit organization based here in Cabarrus County. Our mission is to significantly improve the importance to mothers in need, whether they're single and married, through counseling, advocacy, education, and emotional support. Our primary focus, we focus on postpartum counseling, financial literacy programs, and then we host 2 community baby showers per year. On top of that, we host lots of events for moms for self-care, just really bringing around the importance of self-care, taking care of themselves, pouring back into themselves, and really breaking that stigma of getting counsel, getting mental health counseling when they need it, and not just staying in where they are, and also coming out of the poverty mindset. 90% of the women we serve make $20,000 or less. So we are serving a poverty community, but really trying to change that mindset. Like, just because you're there doesn't mean you're always going to stay there. To kind of add some more value to what Nicole was saying earlier as well, is that really, I'm really big on building relationships with the partners that we have within our organization. I truly believe a lot of people, I see a lot of nonprofits popping up, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. But there's work to be done behind the scenes. It's not a glamorous job. Let me just say that again. It is not glamorous. It doesn't always feel good. I don't always go to sleep feeling like, oh my God, this is just so great. But there's work to be done. I feel like being in a nonprofit world and a realm of work, you really have to build those relationships. That is really and truly what I have learned over the past 6 years having my nonprofit. A lot of people ask me like, oh my God, Sharee, you have like some big sponsors. You have folks that always are committed. But yes, I take the time out to build those relationships. It's not just about it's not just about receiving money, but it's truly about those relationships, having some coffee, having lunch or dinner, reaching out when there is not a need. Right? You don't have to reach out to someone just because you need something, but that truly sets you apart when you build those relationships, so that when you do need, they're like, absolutely, Sharee, no problem. What you need, here you go. But you really going to have to take the time out and really learn your area, really learn the population you serve. That is so important. I mean, when I meet with some big donors, they're like, I always come with a presentation with statistics about where we are, the people we serve, how much it brought in, what are our highs, what are our lows. A lot of people like to celebrate a lot of highs, but there are a lot of lows in getting to the highs, right? So we don't want to omit that. We want to be real and authentic about where you are, but also it has to come from here, right? When you're doing nonprofit work and profit work, people know when you're passionate about it. Like, I work a full-time job. I work for the city. I won't tell what city, but but people know when I talk about Meant to Be, like, I'm serious about it. Like, I get I'm real passionate about it, and people will see that from the other end too. When you're asking for $10,000, $20,000 from a donor, like, they need to see that you're in it too. Like, you can't just go up to them and say, oh, I need this for this, but you're not really living and breathing that organization and trying to really meet the needs of the people. So it has to start here in your heart. If you're doing it for the next come up, you might go ahead and close shop.
Sharee, let me ask you this. You said something earlier that I circled literally, and I have social media right there. You said working behind the scenes, and it triggered me a little bit, because a lot of what we believe in working behind the scenes is on our business, on our websites, on our processes, on our standard operating procedures. And I felt like me and Nicole was right there in the same place, because she said working behind the scenes, and then the next thing you said was burnout, girl. So I want Nicole, can you talk about, people like Miss Allen that are doing mission-driven work? She's a mom working full-time, and she's committed to these things. Right. What would be your recommendation for people in that space to still balance impact while loving themselves and taking that time for themselves as well?
I always say I don't like using the term work-life balance. Right. Because it's never, because people have this image. People can see me. You're trying to balance, like you're balancing scales. Right. I say work-life blend, or it's a blend. So you have life, right? You have life. How do you now blend in work and blend in life and blend in community? Because that's in there in community, as you know, you do community service and so forth. So how are you blending that and having the mindset to know that, hey, some weeks it will be, one week it may be the kids, right? It's the kids focus. I used to be there. And then you might have times where it's heavy work focused, where you're just heavy into the work and vice versa with community and so forth. This is where you have to learn how to blend it. When it gets to burnout, you have to listen to your body, specifically your nervous system. Your nervous system is on fire when you are burnt out and you are stressed.
Nicole, can I just ask a question just in the middle of what you're saying?
Yeah.
Can we define what burnout is? Because I don't really be knowing, y'all, when I'm burnt out and I've been taught for the longest to just push through. Right. At what point, Nicole, am I burnt out?
It's when your mental, physical,
everything,
emotional is done. Now, the reason why I put all those three in there, because some days you just might be mentally done, but you can still go physically, emotionally done, but you can still go mentally, right? This is when all three of those are at a point where you feel like you're not productive. Literally, you maybe can't get your words together. You can't think straight. Also, too, there's this phenomenon that I call decision fatigue. You can't make any more decisions. You don't want to make any more decisions. You don't care about the decisions. It literally, you are done. You are done. You're fatigued. You can't go any further. But Kyle, to your point, you're saying when I don't know when I'm stressed. I want to say, is that a man thing? Because my husband doesn't know when he's stressed either.
I don't even know.
It might be a man thing. But he also says, I don't know when I'm stressed, but then he'll pass out over the weekend, just be done over the weekend. It's like, okay, you're burnt out. Right. But I want you to listen to your body, your nervous system. When I say your nervous system is on fire, it literally, your body could be tingling. Your hands are sweating. Your shoulders are tense. I get a knot in the back of my neck here where I cannot release that knot ever because I am just done. But here's one of the things for me. I know I was burnt out probably about 2 weeks ago because I had 2 incidents. I just lost it. And I'm the emotional intelligent one, right? I lost it. I was done. My behavior was just done to the point where I had to go apologize to the people I was around. I was burnt out. I was burnt out. So what did I do? I took a weekend. I did not people all weekend. I didn't want to see, hear nobody. And I stayed home 2 days in a row in my soft clothes and did nothing. Because listen, we've been taught to go, 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 go. And us as high achievers, when we're not moving, we're not achieving. That's the mindset that some of us are in. It's like, no, your body, you are achieving rest. Give yourself permission to rest.
You're triggering me, Nicole. I feel like you.
I'm sorry. I'm stepping on your toes. I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
But this is so much because I feel like doing nothing is unproductive. Doing nothing is wasting time. Doing nothing. Sometimes doing nothing is the energy or the re-energizer that you need to continue to keep going.
The reset.
I have a question for you that just came in. What questions can future nonprofit founders ask themselves to make sure their mission, capacity, and expectations are aligned with the demanding day-to-day reality of nonprofit work? That's such a great question.
Great question, Kiana. I would say making sure you have a strong board, a strong foundation. You are nothing without the people that are on your team. Okay. Please understand you can't lead anything alone. Okay. You might be the founder. You might be the person that was birthed the mission, but you're not going to go but so far alone. You're going to need a great team. I just feel like you have to have a great team that understands the mission, that understands the vision, that understands where you're going, but they got to see you doing it too, though. Like if I wasn't a great leader, and I haven't always been in a space where I'm like, yeah, Sharee, you are a great leader. I am a great leader. I know I am. But if I wasn't a great leader, I wouldn't have a team that pushed it just as much as I do. If I'm not there, I know that they can still push the vision and the mission. So I would say having a strong team would definitely take you farther than anything. Making sure they understand, always having the mission at the forefront of everything. Less of you, more of what the mission is about. It's not about you. It's about the mission. I'm going to say it again. Not about you. It's about the mission. You got to put that always at the forefront. Every time we have a board meeting, I have everybody recite our mission and vision. Every board meeting. Before we do anything, when we're doing community work, we're reciting the mission. This is what we're here for, because you got to keep that at the forefront. If you don't, you're going to really be burned out real quick. You got to remember the why. Why did you start this?
That's good. That's good.
Let me ask this question as well. And Nicole, I'd love for you to touch this one first.
Uh-huh.
What is the first thing an organization should clarify before building its brand story?
What should they clarify before they build their brand story?
Mm-hmm. Before they start going out and telling their story, and as I think about you as well, before you went out and started marketing and doing all of the work that you're doing, what was that first few steps that you had to implement and acknowledge or set in place before you just went and launched something new?
Well, I think my understanding my values, and with me being an entrepreneur, my values is my business values, right? But I think Sharee said it well. I mean, you have to know your why. What's your mission and vision? And that is so good, because any organization I go into, I always tell people, you may have your own agenda, but I hope what's at top of your agenda is that mission and vision of where you work. You have to know your why. Why am I doing this? There is a need out there for this, and that this is your mission and your vision before you go out there and start doing your branding, your website, your marketing, and so forth. Because relationships is currency. So when you go out and you're speaking in the community, I'm letting you know through word of mouth, which is a powerful marketing tool, my mission, my vision, what I stand for, how I do things, what I'm not going to stand for, and so forth. So you need to make sure you have that in lock before you go buy your website domain to start marketing.
Yes, that's good.
I think a lot of times and I keep saying this every episode today, we have tactics, we have frameworks, we have methodologies that we use, but oftentimes we don't pull the curtain behind or on the actual people that we're talking to have those authentic relationships, to being able to understand the true why or the story behind why we're even doing this work. Sharee, I'd love for you to go first, but then Nicole, I'd like for you to answer the same question. What is your why? Like, why this work that you do right now? What was the thing? What was the moment? What was the realization that happened that woke you up to say, like, nah, I need to do this work for this reason? Here we go.
Oh gosh, y'all ready? Honestly, for me, it was 2018. I was actually living in Okinawa, Japan. I was previously married, was married for 14 years. I only had one child at the time. I was actually working for the Marine Corps as a volunteer coordinator. I worked with several families when they came on to Japan on the island, introducing them about civilian life versus military life, right? And getting them acclimated on the island. Well, in that moment, God spoke to me. Mine was all God driven. He spoke to me about starting Meant to Be. And I honestly, I'm going to be completely transparent. I said to him, why are you asking me to do that? I'm married. Why are you asking me? I'm married. I got a husband. Not knowing, push 3 years ahead of that I'll be going through a divorce. And he would be turning my pain into my purpose, right? And so I didn't realize that I had already experienced postpartum a lot with my first child. Then I got pregnant right before my divorce. Okay. So I had a baby, experienced crazy postpartum. I was in postpartum for 3 years. Okay. Suffered for 3 years. So basically for me, I started because it was my own personal experience. Through my divorce, my father passed away. So I dealt with 2 deaths at the same time. So experiencing both of that. Then I went through a financial hardship, which is why we focus on financial literacy, right? I also thought there was a stigma there. I know there's a stigma there where people think, oh, you're married, you don't need resources. Oh, only single people need that. That's a lie. Mm-hmm. Just because you're married, that doesn't mean you don't need resources. Just because you're married doesn't mean you have it all. Just because you're single doesn't mean you don't have it all. So I wanted to break that stigma because I've been married and now I'm single, right? I think marriage is a beautiful thing. I would get married again. But from what I experienced the first go round, I don't want another woman walking this earth knowing that if they're not feeling like themselves after they have a baby, I don't want that to happen again. Prime example, this past weekend, we had our very first Mom's Giving event. We had 30 women around the table. I had a guest speaker come in. It was called Breathe and Be. You would not believe the women around the table. We asked them between 1 and 10 how they were feeling the moment before we even started the session. Most of them was a 5 and below. One woman said 0. Okay. That's my why. I go hard for these women. I don't play no games. When it comes, if they give 100%, I tell every woman that comes through our program, if you give 100%, I'll go 150% for you. You know, but it's not a lot of people go to nonprofits and say, oh, I'm gonna just get. No, it's not a free ride. But if you're willing to change your mindset, if you're willing to stay consistent, if you're willing to stay committed to change, I'm gonna go just as hard as you. So that's my why. It's really my own testimony that I've turned in to make it something beautiful because I put in the work. After being divorced, people told me, oh, you wouldn't be able to buy a house. You wouldn't be able to do this. You wouldn't be able to do that. Guess what? 8 months, I paid off my debt. Guess who's a homeowner now?
Let's go. I wish I had the applause little button.
Guess who received $100,000 worth of grants for my home through the affordable housing program?
What do they do now? They go like this now with what the youngins do.
But guess what? That takes consistency, determination. So my role in Meant to Be is to turn around and say, look, I did it. You can do it too. I'm an example. So that's my why. And that's why I go real hard for Meant to Be.
Sharee, I just want to just pause for a moment because I think so many times we just rush into the next question or the next thought. But I feel that so much. I'm getting choked up over here. And I think it's those types of stories. Mm-hmm. It's those types of moments. It's those types of resilient stories and vulnerability that we need more in these spaces.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm losing my words, but I really feel that there's somebody listening right now that doesn't believe in second chances. There's somebody that's listening right now that have went through a divorce, that have went through a tough breakup, that have lost their position in this economy now and doesn't believe in the second chance. And that second season is what I saw. And your resiliency, your faith, your belief, and your passion, your motivation has not only transformed your own life, but has now set the foundation and built a bridge for so many other women that are just like you to be able to transform their lives. And like I said earlier, your obedience has been attached to so many other women's destiny. And I've seen the work that you've done. And just like Miss Moore said, you turned that pain into purpose, but just not just purpose, but also creating a platform from that pain to be able to transform so many other women. I just thank you for that. Nicole, I would love to know that story. Like, what is that story behind the work that you're doing today? And then I'll come on.
So the saying, my pain is my purpose. The reason why I got into leadership development, specifically emotional intelligence, because I think, Kyle, I may have told you the story. 20 years ago, when I was a young human resources director, I called the VP of Finance an ass.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Slammed. Did you hear it when I said it? No. I slammed my fist on the table. I mean, because the point wasn't, was he one? Yeah, yes, he was one. He was. The thing is that I knew there had to be a better way to convey to him how I was feeling for him to understand. And when I went up to the stairs to my office and slammed the door, I saw this little girl crying in the corner with pigtails that they call Nikki, and that's me. And I saw her crying because I gave away my emotional power. But the reason why she was crying, because if you back up to when I was a child, my household was so emotionally chaotic. It was just emotionally chaotic. Between my mom, my dad, and my stepdad, I've been through 10 marriages, 8 divorces as a kid. 10 marriages, 8 divorces. Now, I've been married 27 years because I was going to break that generational trauma. But what I noticed growing up was emotional intelligence. I didn't know what it was then, right? But just in regards to how to take your thoughts that turn into those emotions and those feelings and then the behavior behind it, I was like, there's got to be a better way. So when I saw that I hadn't healed from that trauma, you do not heal from your trauma. It will show up as an adult in the workplace or even at home. But I've seen a lot of it in the workplace. But as I was growing up in the corporate space, because I got into the corporate space when I was 20 years old, when I was growing up in the corporate space, I didn't have a leader. I didn't have a leader. Today, when people go, well, who was your mentor? Who was your sponsor? I didn't have all that. I didn't have all that. I didn't have that leader. So the reason why I do leadership development, because I want to be that person for people in the workplace that they didn't have. I want to be that leader for you. I want to show you that a leader has flaws, that a leader can laugh, that a leader can cuss, that a leader can be spiritual, that a leader can be strong, can be burnt out, a leader can cry. And I wanted to show everyone that the old leadership ways, that's done.
That's good.
That's done. If you are not leaning into your emotional intelligence as a leader, you don't have a strategic advantage. You don't. You're on autopilot. You're just going through. Now, on the personal side, I also too show people how emotional intelligence can play in your personal life as well. There's a reason why I've been married 27 years. I am very self-aware. I want you to become so self-aware about yourself that no one can tell you anything about yourself and you're surprised by it. When somebody says you're frustrating or you're annoying, okay, I know that. I know you don't have to call out my flaws. I know them. Okay. So I want you to become so self-aware to where when you're in your relationships, you don't need that other person to complete you. You are already complete. You are already complete.
Yeah, you're talking too good. You're talking too good. Can I just, what does that mean though? Because I think a lot of times we believe that, I'm meeting my my other half, or and that only expects me to be half of myself. Can we talk about that for a second? And then I have another question that I'd love for Sharee to answer.
Right. I want you to go into relationships, and I'm speaking specifically about intimate relationships. I want you to be whole. This means you love yourself. This means you know yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, your flaws, and so forth. You are okay being alone. You are okay sitting by yourself. You are okay with who you are. And then what's going to happen is, to me, in my eyes, God is preparing you to be that wife for that man that's going to come into my life. Because at the same time, God is preparing him as well. So we're going to come together and we are going to make an amazing package, right? But we're both coming in whole. What I saw growing up was I saw broken people coming together and creating a broken relationship. And then if I didn't change my mindset, I would have been a broken child and now as a broken adult. I wasn't going to do that. I noticed at a young age, I wasn't going to do that. What has helped me on this journey is my emotional intelligence. It doesn't mean it's soft. There are times I can be direct, firm, and assertive. I can stand 10 toes down in what I believe, and I am still being emotionally intelligent. But also, too, as I grow in that emotional intelligence, trust and believe, I'm very, very in tune to other people, other people's reactions, other people's behavior, other people's ways. I can see through people's BS, their belief system. See, y'all thought I was going to say something else, but I can see through that too. I can see through that too. But this is because I am whole. This is because I am Nicole and I love Nicole. Now we joke around and Marcus, my husband, will say that's my better half. You know, we did that cliche statement. But
Yeah.
we both have come in and we have grown up together because we've been together for some time, but we've worked on ourselves. We worked on ourselves. Me, Nicole worked on me, Marcus worked on Marcus, and here we are together demonstrating that same to our two boys that we have, our two adult boys that we have. And listen, whoever is in relationship with my boys, my young men, those are beautiful men. They are whole. They are complete. And when they get in their relationships, let me tell you, they're going to love on that special person because my husband and I have taught them that. And we did that through emotional intelligence. But
Can
I
I
also take that in the workplace too.
let me ask this question for you though, Nicole. How do we teach that? You brought up a powerful point that I didn't think that we would have the time to discuss today.
Yeah.
How do you teach that? I'm a
Teach.
parent.
Mhm.
I'm someone, with little ones, but then even our audience, how can
Mhm.
we teach emotional intelligence to our children?
Right.
Because I think this conversation today for our audience, it's not just about professional and how we navigate in these
Right.
professional spaces. It's ultimately how we become better individuals in all spaces.
All
So,
spaces.
so what are
All
some
spaces.
tools? What are some tools or takeaways that you would recommend that we could be able to embody
Mhm.
emotional intelligence, but then also be able to teach and empower others to do the same?
Right. Well, as a parent, let's just say one of my values is peace. And I made sure that was all through my household. All through my household. What I demonstrated to my boys is that I'm human and that I'm not a perfect parent. Okay. I made sure that conversations that I had with my children were age appropriate because sometimes I feel like we are wanting our children to grow up very fast. We're bringing our children into our finances too soon. We're bringing our children into adult things that they have no business being in. I treated my children like children and very age appropriate as they got older.
That's good.
My husband and I, we hugged very affectionate in front of our children, kissing, hugging. They saw us love each other. They also saw or heard when we would have disagreements. But you know what they saw? They saw that resilience of us coming back together.
Mm.
They saw us come back together. They never have heard us talk bad about each other. They never heard us talk bad about I didn't talk bad about their dad. They never heard him talk bad about me. And my husband and I focused on each other, and then came the children because we are now empty nesters. So now we're alone in this house together.
Yeah.
But what we taught our boys was how to love unconditionally. We talked to them. We let them know that we're open for them to tell us whatever they want to tell us. And sometimes it was TMI, but here we are being very open. But here's the kicker, Kyle. My children taught me how to be a better person. I
Mm.
wanted to be for them the parent that I didn't have. But let me tell you, my friends, if you're listening, the day you apologize to your children because you were wrong, because you were wrong in something, is the day that will open up everything for you.
I agree.
Will open up everything for you. My child looked at me when I apologized and he said, "Oh, wow." He said, "Mom," he said, "it's okay." But again, that humbled me and that let my children know that I wasn't perfect. So, Kyle, there's no like lesson, emotional intelligence 101 for you to teach your kids. They're watching you.
Of
So
course.
now how do you want to be in front of them? They're watching you.
That was one of the conversations that we had earlier. I think that a lot of times, how I would define great leadership is when your actions and your words align to the
That part.
values, the mission, and the expectations, belief, and shared practices of the organization or family
Right.
structure, whatever.
Right.
And it's alignment. It's, I want peace, so I'm going to display and model peace. I want
Mhm.
forgiveness, so I'm going to display and model forgiveness. And all the, just go ahead. I
Right.
see it coming. Go ahead.
I'm just saying. So a friend of mine, I don't want to steal her title. She wrote a book called Marriage Business. But marriage is it's business, and
Mm,
we literally demonstrated to our children how this marriage was going to stay in business, and that's what we modeled. And they saw that listen, I'm building a legacy with my children. So sit back and think about, how are you building this legacy? Listen, my children and their friends, we're the cool parents. We're the cool parents, but they know where the line is, right? We're the cool parents. The kids call us to talk to us because they can't talk to their parents. And then I sit back and go, what kind of parent are you that your children can't come to you to share their deepest thoughts? What kind of parent are you that lets your children think, oh, I can't go to my parents?
That's good.
I can't go to my parents. Your kids should always come to you and you first.
I agree. Let me ask you this, and this is for me. I have a 9-year-old that's battling with, coming into his own as a son, and believes that there's some things that he doesn't feel comfortable coming to us about, because he doesn't either A, want to get in trouble, or B, doesn't want to let me down. And he's communicated those things. Talk to me, Nicole. You've been doing it 27 plus years. What could I do better to establish that safe environment for my son, so that he always feels comfortable to come to us as parents when he's experiencing something, whether it be in class or with his friends or anything? Yes. What could I do?
I want you to watch how you react or respond when they talk to you. When they say something and in your mind you go, oh my, and you just you just blast off. This is where I encourage you, Kyle, to always pause. Always pause when your child is telling you something. Don't automatically react, because they're watching that and they'll go, see, that's why I can't come to you, because that's how you're reacting. My oldest son is 26 years old. My oldest is 26 years old. He has said that when I told him this, he was starting to drive. And I said, if you ever get into a situation where you can't drive home, where he's been drinking, whatever, I said, you always call us first. We will come get you. No questions asked.
Yeah.
Get in the car. We're going home. I will let you go to bed. I will let you sleep it off. But do know in the morning, we're going to talk about it. And he knew from that day on. He always knew when he was younger, but he said where he could rationalize it, that he knew he could come to his parents for everything. And my friends, when I say he came to us for everything, I want you to listen to your children and stop talking. Stop talking. Let them talk. Stop talking. Even though you want to get a word in, even though you want to say something back, even though you want to get on them and you want to tell them how wrong it is and how right it is and so forth. I get it. Stop talking.
That's good.
Let them know that you were there to listen. That was the biggest thing for me and my husband, was just taking a minute to listen to them, no matter how rambled their thoughts are. Listen to them. Yeah, that would be the main tip I would give, because if we can go another hour, Kyle, and we can have a parenting 101.
60 seconds to share a message, and I'm gonna bring Sharee up because her internet connection is back, y'all.
Oh,
I'm gonna bring
so bad. Oh my God.
If you had 60 seconds, Sharee, I'd love for you to go first. 60 seconds to share a message that people could take with them, not just for the rest of their professional careers, but the rest of their lives. What would be your message, and what would you say?
I would say be authentic, be real. Right now there's the climate that we're living in, and even before the pandemic, so many things were happening, but people need real people in their lives. They need to see real. There's so many people hurting, going through a lot of mental issues. And when you're not real, people can't overcome what they're going through, right? So your testimony and what you've experienced and how you've come out of it made me think about it when Nicole was saying where she was and her background and her childhood. But guess what? She didn't allow that to keep her in that place, right? So sharing your story and turning your story into something that may help someone else, do that. Don't hide your story. People need to hear that. So I say always be authentic. Always be true to who you are. Stay true to who you are and be real. Please, people need real in this world. They really do. They really, really do. That would be my answer, Kyle.
I was waiting on Nicole. Same for you, Nicole.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Yeah. So telling your story, I want people to always remember, and we were talked about this, Kyle, being complacent, moving forward, going after what you want and so forth. This is where I'm going to add to that, right? I want to add, remember, there's never a hater doing better than you.
That's good.
There's never a hater doing better than you. So if you want it, you're going to have to go for it, because nobody's going to give it to you. You're going to have to go for it. So with these ideas that you may have, and being this leader, getting that job, getting this promotion, running that business, and so forth, go for it. Go for it. Because listen, somebody's probably already 2 steps ahead of you. So go ahead. And as Sharee said, tell your story. Your story is magical. I want you to tell your story. But here's the thing with telling your story. If you haven't healed from the trauma of your story, if you haven't healed from the trauma of your story, you need to deal with that first, heal from that first, so you can tell your story to show the trauma to the triumph. Because people just don't want to hear you say, woe is me, because they got a story too. Right. They got trauma too. So this is where I want you to know, take your trauma into your triumph. And just go. Don't be complacent. Just go.
That's so good. I appreciate you both so very much. Sharee, we're going to have to do another episode.
I know. And don't get caught up in the likes, y'all, and the heart. Don't get caught up in that. I didn't get a single like or heart for almost 2 years. But guess what? We're running a successful nonprofit. I don't care if y'all don't like it or not. How about that?
I appreciate you both so much. Where can people find you both online?
You can find me on Instagram, and I'm on TikTok, Instagram on the Nicole F. Smith. I'm on LinkedIn, Nicole F. Smith, and my website is thenicolefsmith.com. And please reach out to me, because I don't have bots responding back to you. I respond back to you.
Same. We're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't have TikTok, I'm not there yet, but our website is menttobecarolinas.com. It's MINTTOBE Carolinas.com. You can reach out to us, any of that. Again, that's me responding back to. We do have an intern that responds back, but 100% of the time it's me. So please reach out. Would love to have you volunteer or come to some of our events.
Yeah.
I appreciate you both so very much for sharing not just wisdom, but your depth with us today, your stories. And you reminded us that leadership isn't just a set of skills. It's a daily practice of emotional discipline, self-awareness, and human connection. And the work that we do as leaders has to move from reacting and responding to managing to inspiring, and from surviving to truly leading, so that our teams can be able to thrive. So I appreciate you both so very much. And we'll definitely, I know I'll be talking to both of you.
You are so good. I love you. You are so good.
Thanks so much, Kyle.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the Contagious Culture Podcast. If this episode challenged or inspired you, hey, take a second to share it with someone who's building culture in their world. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps more leaders, educators, and change makers just like yourself join the movement. You can connect with me on LinkedIn or YouTube at Kyle S. King for more tips, tools, and methodologies to be able to help you create this ecosystem of absolute excellence. Until next time, lead boldly, live intentionally, and remember, your culture is contagious. Make it worth catching.